Easy guys, how's it going? It's OSCO here. Yeah, so this is just a continuation from last week's video. So, you know, if you see me starting off on step 5, it's just because I intended to start off with 10 top tips, and so I was splitting them up into 2 top 5s. But yeah, if you like the video, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and yeah, if you've got any ideas for any future videos, please leave them in the comment section below. If you leave any comments, I'll try and get back to them. If you've got any questions for me, let me know. And yeah, if you could leave a like, that helps me out a lot with the algorithm, you know, promoting the videos and get them out to people. So yeah, if you could do that, that'd be great. I'll see you in a bit, guys. Yeah, peace.
Okay. Step number 6, super wide vocals. So this can be useful for backing vocals, choirs, you know, anything that is, you know, even for pre-drop vocals. If you're doing something with, you know, if you've got a sample before you drop and you want to make it like really cinematic and wide, what I do with all of them is create 3 layers. So what we're going to do is take this vocal. Because in Ableton we don't need to duplicate, I'm just going to insert a audio effect rack. Actually, no, I'm not. We do need to duplicate. So we're going to take one signal and 2 signals. So this is the signal we're going to be playing with. So already it's quite wide because of the reverb that's added to it, but what we're going to do is create it as a super wide sort of sound. So we're going to take off warp on both of these vocals, and actually no, we've got to keep it on, haven't we? We're gonna leave it off, and we're going to try it without. We're going to take the detune and detune it down by about 15 15. Let me pull this down here so you can see what's going on. So I've taken one of these signals in the audio clip. So we've got these 2 audio clips here. I've selected one of them. So we need to use this bottom one. We're going to pull this down by 15 semitones. And then we're going to hard pan 1 left and 1 right and give that a listen. There we go. So by pulling it down by 25 semitones, what we're doing here is by unwarping them, we're actually creating a out of phase signal. You know, the 2 signals are not playing at the same time. By detuning one of them ever so slightly, we're removing one back from the other, and we're creating a really wide sound. If you wanted this particular sound to be super mono compatible, I would duplicate the original sound that is untouched and keep that loud. And then with these 2 side signals, I'd bring those down. And then maybe what I would do, just to really clean it up, get an EQ8 on the group of that and just give it a high pass, then use a more colourful EQ to boost the high end. And give that a listen with this vocal. Just that's a way to add air, a way to add presence and sort of grandeur to your vocals. It just sort of gives it a nice lift in the stereo image. So yeah, that's mix tip number 6. Top and tail, mix tip number 7. Top and tail. So what is top and tail? It's something that I have coined. It's a common thing, but that's just what I call it. And it's high and low pass EQ, you know, filters basically. They're so important for saving headroom in a mix, especially in electronic music where we're trying to strive for loudness. And well, definitely if you're trying to go for loudness, this is incredibly important. But for clarity, because we're using a lot more individual sounds. So like, let's say in our drums, for example, we're probably using more drums in our music than an acoustic drummer would be using in theirs. Because there's only so many drums that someone can surround, and so many drums that someone can mic up, and so many drums you can hit at a given time. With electronic music, you know, we're like an octopus drummer. You know, we can add a lot more percussion and stuff going on at a particular time. So it's really important to define where those certain things are sitting, as to not confuse the mix or muddy up the mix. So this crash here in the example that I was showing you before really sounds like this. And it is so subtle. So what I'm doing is just like tops for you guys, tops and tails. What I'm doing is I'm bringing up the tail of the signal, at the low end, stop any of the mud from coming through. I can see on this channel EQ down here, my frequency spectrum, if I pull that all the way down, there's a little bit of noise. I don't know if you can see that. From that crash, there's a bit of noise that's coming in, and like I can hear it. Yeah, there's some low rumble going on in this hat. So what I'm going to do is just bring that up 300 hertz. And then it's gone. Problem solved. You know, that's just it's just going to help clean up space in the low end. So like, you know, you don't really want to hear anything else down the low end other than your bass, like your sub bass and your kick. Anything else, you know, is it really useful being anything else down there? There's no reason why a crash should have any information that low. And the same thing goes for, you know, for kicks, or for certain elements of kicks, because if you have multiple kicks in your project and you're layering kicks, it's really important that you have your low layer isn't introducing anything in the high end, because your high layer should be dealing with that, like your click or your transient. Just another thing to keep in mind. Basically, the way that top and tail works for me is I like to put a magnifying glass around something. So like say, well, for example, this image right here of me talking to you. If I pull this out and actually open it up fully, this is what my camera can see. But what I'm doing is I'm just allowing you to see what I want you to see. And the same thing applies with music with EQ. You just want to let the audience or the listener see what you want them to see. And that's what EQ allows you to do. But yeah, it's exactly that. So just allow the listener to hear what you want them to hear out of that particular snippet of audio, and top and tailing your signal will do that. And by doing that, your mix will sound cleaner. You'll be able to get your mix louder, and overall, you sound clearer. So yeah, that's it. Top and tail. Quick tip number 7 is use a timer in your mixes. So, you know, I've got a little digital timer here which I've been using in my sessions with clients. And what I'll do is I'll set 50 minutes on the clock. So there'll be 50 minutes where I'm hearing music and working on the tune. And then once that timer goes off, I set it to 10 minutes. I take a 10-minute break. What this does is it resets your ears, and you're listening with, you know, quite a lot of focus. And what you can do in that time by stepping away and just, you know, focusing on something else, go make a coffee, go get a drink, or you know, just talk between each other about where the track's going, and allow your ears to rest for 10 minutes. And then when you come back, you know, into the thing, you have a hyper-analyzed listen. You know, hyper-analyzed listening is where you very intently focus on the playthrough of the track, and you take notes. So I've got a couple of notebooks here. You know, if I flick to yeah. So what I've done is I've created a checklist. You can see here, I've worked on the track. I've got first listen, second listen, third listen. I've created a list of things. So kick rebalance in intro, perks more present in intro, clean up low mids, wood block emphasis, add dynamics to kick and bass, take edge out of the splash. And that was on the first listen. Then on the second listen, hats in the intro, there's a slight resonance, sort that out. Spice up vocal and dub siren, add delay to the bass, and third listen, add stereo layer to the snare, parallel distortion on the kick, automate reverbs in level and amount, dub style delay on the second vocal in the track, transition level revisit. So there's a bunch of points in there basically, which I make note on when I take my hyper-analyzed listen. There's a bunch of notes that I take on these intense listening sessions after my 10-minute break, which keep me on task. It just makes the mixes so much quicker, because then you have a checklist to do, you have a to-do list. You're not just listening and tweaking aimlessly. You get the job done a lot quicker, and it's a lot more focused. Take breaks frequently, and then on the first listen, take notes. That's mix tip number 8. What I'm going to do is actually combine those tips into 8 and 9, because that's kind of 2 tips. Take breaks, that's a given. You know, I think you should be doing that anyways. Maybe not from production. I think it's important to sit a track through until the idea is finished, or until the idea that you're working on is sort of arranged, or to a certain extent. Yeah, with mixing, take breaks frequently, because that's where you'll notice the next thing to do. So if you can try and aim to do your checklist within the first 50-minute work session, and then you know, take your break, listen again, make your checklist, execute the checklist, then take a break, and you know, keep doing that until you go, right, I think we're getting there now. So yeah, number 8 was take breaks. Number 9, take notes during intense listening sessions, which should be taken after your breaks. And the last and final tip is use an analyzer. So let's jump back into live, and I'll show you the ones that I have been using as of recent and ones that I've used in the past. So what you guys have seen me use in a bunch of my videos is, or not in videos, but in the live streams, is Insight, which is a plugin by Isotope. In all honesty, it has probably everything that you could want in terms of an analysis, a bit of audio analysis software. We'll be listening to the track. What this is showing me is stereo information and mono compatibility. So with this sound field meter, if this stays in the positive, I am mono compatible. If I go into the negative, it's anti-phase. So in phase and anti-phase, and then if it goes into the anti-phase past 0, there's a chance that if we're totally anti-phase, then there is no chance that that signal is coming through in mono. And I have this up on a third monitor. I've got 2 monitors in front of me, and that third monitor that is like on the wall at the back. I leave it constantly running with this on, when I'm producing or mixing or mastering. And this is just like my loudness level meter. I can check the stereo in a couple different ways of measuring it with the polar level or this one. And the spectrogram, I love spectrograms just because I can see decay times of frequencies. So it's great for reverbs. If I've got a particular sound playing it, like what's great about it is if I leave something soloed, like the hats. So I can see here that there's a bunch of information under 100 Hertz, which doesn't need to be there straight away. So I solo something, I'm like, right, there's something wrong with this. So I can go into that particular thing and apply an EQ, take an EQ8, and we'll just roll off those lower frequencies. And you can see here, the way that the spectrograph works is that the brighter the color is, or the closer to white the color is, and then it descends from like white, purple, blue, like sort of baby blue, green, yellow, red, and then into nothing. If I was playing that without the EQ, there's a bunch of green under 100 Hertz, and if I apply that EQ again, there's a little bit of red, which means it's basically nothing, but green is quite loud. And if I want to save headroom, then, top and tail, I can do that by looking at the spectrograph. Some if your speakers don't operate down that low, you're not going to hear it, and you can tell I miss that in headphones. There's things that I miss, and all the time that a bit of analysis software can just sort of punch me in the right direction. And because I've used analysis software for a long time, things like this really help. Now, Insight is great, but it's very, very taxing on CPU. Something I've been using recently, I got the DMG bundle recently, and the DMG bundle is amazing. Let me just move out of the way of this. Like, all of these plugins are insane. I haven't even gotten into them a whole bunch yet. I need to use them a lot more. But Track Meter I've been using all the time. It's great. It's not got everything all in one view like Insight does, but what I like is how it really has a big section open between 20 and 10 Hertz. And I can see, so I can see here with that bass that it is introducing a subharmonic which is really loud. So if I go into the bass group and then have a look at Pro Q3 and just maybe roll off here, maybe put it on linear phase, put it on 24 dB per octave at 20 Hertz. So that bass now isn't outputting whatever that was below 10 Hertz. I can't see that on Pro Q because it only goes down to, what is that, 10 Hertz, whereas this is displaying below 10 Hertz, on Track Meter. What I can't hear, no speaker is going to output below 10 Hertz, but what I can't hear, this is telling me that there's something in the track, and that information is going to eat up headroom. By applying that low cut on that bass, and obviously there's a bit of information on that kick, which is creating a bit of a spike below there as well. So if I apply that same EQ to the kick now, let's give that a listen on Track Meter. So there's something on the snare as well, but there's always going to be a little bit of of play with the kick and snare on track meter, but like it's just something that like keeps me on my toes, especially with the low end going down that low, because on the Insight I missed that a lot. But yeah, so track meter, very cool. There's scopes on here, so got oscilloscopes. So yeah, we've got a global oscilloscope, which is nice, so I can just swap to that if I'm doing sound design bits or if I'm trying to align a kick and sub together. I still think Pro Scope's pretty good for this, but or Size Scope, whatever the one I was using in the kick alignment video. It's nice to have on here as well. We've got a phase spectra. I love this. This is like, I can't believe that this wasn't a thing before, but I can check my compatibility, my phase between the left and right channel, you know, across the entire spectrum. Now, there is some information going on down there because of the effects that I've put on the bass, but it's fine because when we go to, if I was to put a utility on there, because we've got the dry signal going straight out, it's not going to be an issue. So there's that. It's really low latency. There's a bunch of really cool stuff in here. Yeah, we've got some more phase bits. And yeah, there's just a bunch of stuff on there, which is great. So definitely check out Track Meter, or just the whole DMG bundle if you can afford it, is great. And yeah, I think they're making better products than Isotope. I've never really been a fan of the Isotope stuff. It's either really high CPU usage or just overpriced for what it is. Insight was good, but I wouldn't pay the price that it is for it, knowing that the DMG bundle is out there. So yeah, that has been 10 mix tips. This video took a while to record. It's probably going to take even longer to edit. So yeah, if you can leave a like on this video, share it with a friend. That'd be a massive help to me. I'll give you a quick little 11th tip as well. Subscribe to the channel. You'll get more content like this. So if you want to see another 10 quick mix tips, let me know, and I'll make another one. And let me know if you want a 10 quick sound design tips, 10 quick mixing tips. So again, mastering, recording. Let me know. Let me know what you want to see. Leave your suggestions and video suggestions in the comment section below, and I'll try and get to them. I have been making a list. I've been checking it. You know, I'm going through it. If I like it, I'll make a video on it. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video, guys. Peace.